Good evening and welcome in. To the right of your screen is Pops QMP. We are your favorite father-son duo talking sports. Now I got a question for y'all. Are y'all tired of watered down sports takes? Well, if you are, you've come to the right place because here we are unfiltered and real. The Wild Sports Show is back. Let's talk sports. Pops, it's been a minute, but we back.
Hey, I'm happy to see everybody. Hopefully they'll join in and tune in with us, and we can make this a good year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. Now, there's quite a bit that has happened in the football world since we were last on the air. We've had a firing and hiring of defensive coordinator with our beloved Dallas Cowboys. We've also had Super Bowl 60 take place. We had a notable snub from the Hall of Fame. We've also had a number of new NFL head coaching hires. And then we got a juicy question of the day. Y'all gonna love this one. I've been waiting for it. So glad to have y'all in. Now listen, y'all, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, wherever you watch podcasts, whatever your favorite platform is to watch podcasts, we are there. So just be sure to tune in wherever you watch your podcast, whatever your favorite platform is to watch podcasts, be sure to tune in. And again, like, share, and subscribe. Yo, welcome in. W. Jonigan 1978. Appreciate you tuning in. Now, Pops, let's go ahead and get into it. You ready, sir?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Let's lead out. Go ahead, Doc.
All right. So we're going to talk about the new defensive coordinator that the Dallas Cowboys have brought on board, which I got to say, I'm impressed with. So, this is the thing for me. With us bringing in somebody, as you'll see here in this clip that we're about to show you, it's Christian Parker. This gentleman, as you see on the screen there, this is my favorite part, Pop. At the very bottom of that screen, what team did he come from?
Now you're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Is that
Indeed.
correct?
So I am very pleased that we're able to poach someone away from our bitter rivals. And really, I've heard a lot of great things about this young man. He's a very young defensive mind. I've heard he's a very bright defensive mind. He's had a few different stops along the way, as you'll see in his bio there. Renee Bradley, appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for the comment. But yeah, glad we got him from the Eagles, because I'm actually surprised that we're able to poach someone away from them, because they're really guarded with their coordinators, unless it's like a head coaching hire or something like that, what they've had with their offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators here over the years. But unless it's something like that, typically that doesn't happen. So give me your thoughts on the new DC in Dallas, Pops, for our Cowboys, Christian Parker. Give me your thoughts and let me know what you think about it.
Well, the main thing is that it's kind of going to sound strange, but being the head man and being an African American is the first thing I look at is that. And I like the fact that these guys, and he also being a young man. And the thing is this: I think he can bring the best out of these defensive players that we have, and because he has probably a new philosophy, and he may even bring the physicality to the defense now because of the fact that since he come from the Eagles, I think the way they play and how actually they tackle, and especially with the defensive backs, I think he can make a big difference because, first, again, I say he's young and he's an African American, and I don't like to do it like that, but I like to say that you could say the connection might be a lot better.
Okay. And I feel the same way. I'm really pleased that we got someone. Now, everyone was calling for Eberflus's head. They were telling everybody who would hear, everybody was calling for him to be fired. And luckily no, let's pause for a bit. I'm not in favor of anyone losing a job. I want that to be understood. However, with how bad we play defensively, and we know how historically bad we did play. Now, we did have some flashes of good plays here and there, but overall, he needed to go. There's no way we could have held on to him for another year. You can't say that they would have gotten better, because typically, with a DC coming in, Yeah, they may have a slow start, as you know, but eventually, as the year progresses, they get better. Oh, it was too much inconsistency for that to be the case. So it was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and cut ties. Let's get someone else in. And this hire was Brian Schottenheimer's hire. This wasn't someone that he inherited because if you remember, Eberflus is someone that Jerry Jones really wanted on board and things of that nature. So even though he truly won't admit it, and it seemed like he tried to throw Jerry Jones tried to throw Brian Schottenheimer under the bus for the hire of Matt Eberflus, it was someone that Jerry Jones wanted to bring in as a DC, kind of like how he did when Wade Phillips was the head coach, and he had already had Jason Garrett handpicked as an OC instead of letting the coach pick their own coaches. He said, "No, we're going to give you this guy." It's forcing them on him. So this was a hire that Brian Schottenheimer did, which I'm pleased to hear. It seems like the Schottenheimer hires have produced, namely Clayton Adams with the running game, how that's been produced. So we'll see how it goes here. I mean, we really can't get any worse, right? So just saying, we gotta be better defensively. There's nowhere to really go but up. So I do expect some growing pains early on, but I do expect us to improve just based upon the fact of how he's coached up, the DBs with the Eagles and other stops that he's had. Again, you hear nothing but good things about the young man. So looking forward to see what happens. QLC with a comment. We shall see. Indeed, we shall see. So there's hoping for the best. Christian Parker, do your thing, brother. Glad to have you on board. All right, so now, Pops, we're gonna go ahead and talk about some new head coaches that are now in the league. New head coaches. Now we had a bunch of new head coaches that were hired. A couple of different ones, couple of stops that we didn't truly expect, which were from the Steelers and the Ravens. So just kind of caught off guard with those for sure. I mean, I guess you could kind of see how things were kind of playing out as far as with Tomlin was concerned, with the comments about um, him being fired from the fans and all that kind of stuff, chanting fire Tomlin and all this kind of stuff. So you kind of see it possibly happening, but as you'll see in this clip with all these new coaches, there's a ton. So we're gonna go down through this list, and then Pops, I want you to tell me when you look at this list, let me know who you think will be the most successful. Look at that list of coaches. That's a lot. That is a lot of coaches there that are not necessarily new in the sense of it being their first head coaching stop. Now we know John Harbaugh, we know Mike
I'm
McCarthy, we
looking at,
know.
uh,
Go ahead, Pops.
yeah, well, I'm looking at, let's see, well, I didn't know that many were out there. But with some of these teams that I see, which with the Miami's coach and also the Raiders coach, those are the two more or less that stand out, and they really don't have that much to have to correct uh, as far as with the Raiders. And I think you'll see them more so improved, and also the way Miami played this last year. I think those two are the ones that stand out for me. And the other one that really is something to see is McCarthy. Uh, he got his, I think he's back home in a sense of speaking, and he had tears in his eyes when he was selected as the Pittsburgh Steelers coach. And I think he'll do well there due to the fact that his family's there, and also they think it may be a little secret that Aaron Rodgers might actually stay another year because of him. But those three are the ones that I look at and I think that stand out as much to me.
Okay. Okay. I hear you there. And as I was saying, this is not necessarily all these head coaches are not new in the sense of being first year head coaches, like Robert
Right.
Saleh, John Harbaugh, Mike McCarthy, you know, those guys and Kevin Stefanski, those guys have been head coaches. It's just that they're in new places. Now, the new head coaches that have never had a head coaching gig, Mike LaFleur, Jesse Minter, Joe Brady, Todd Munkin, Clint Kubiak, Jeff Hafley, those guys, it's their first stop. So, we're gonna see how it turns out. Now, the one that intrigues me the most, yo, Michael Turner, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate the comment, brother. Thank you for tuning in. But the one that intrigues me the most I'm pretty sure you already know who I'm thinking. Is John Harbaugh with the Giants. When that happened, I wasn't really pleased with that whatsoever because, as we know, you know, he's got a winning track record. It just his time came to an end with the Ravens. It's just simple as that. They needed to move in a new direction, and figure some new blood was needed with the Baltimore Ravens. So, with that being the case, now Jesse Minter's there with the Baltimore Ravens. But again, that means now John Harbaugh is the coach of the New York Giants. I don't think I expected that initially. I really thought he might go somewhere else, maybe like Atlanta, something of that nature. I just didn't see him going to the Giants. So again, with his track record, he's proven he can win. So that's my only hangup. It's just a question of when instead of if, because he's built winning teams. You know what I mean? And he's got a big track record of winning. So, yo, Brandon, appreciate you tuning in, my man. What up, brother? Thanks again for tuning in, my man. Appreciate the comment. So yeah, John Harbaugh is the one that intrigues me the most. The one that's truly disheartening because it's like, man, here we go. New York Giants are going to be competitive for sure. If at the least they're going to be super competitive against the Cowboys. So that's what we got to worry about. And I'll tell you, my other thought is the Joe Brady hire with the Buffalo Bills. That whole situation, I don't understand. I can say I do understand, but then I don't understand why you would let a coach like Sean McDermott go. Just the whole premise behind that situation just seemed off. And the fact that you bring in Joe Brady, namely because of the relationship he has with Josh Allen, that's really the only continuity that you have there. But if you think about it, the main thing that they needed to improve on was the defensive side of the ball. You know what I'm saying? They needed to make a few changes there, but then they had a ton of injury. Got a comment from Brandon, the Giants are still the Giants. Yeah, my man, you're right. But at the same time, whenever they had a bona fide coach such as John Harbaugh be, a leader of the organization, the last time I can remember was Tom Coughlin. And that dude got him, 2 Super Bowls? So just saying, if you think about it, that's the last time they had a bona fide coach there. Now they have John Harbaugh in the mix. I'm just saying, at the very least, they're going to be competitive. That's all I'm saying. So that's why I was disappointed he went there. But again, getting back to Joe Brady, I don't understand the whole situation. I wish anything bad on the guy, but I don't know. It's just like he's being set up to fail because expectations are high because of the quarterback they have. And at some point, they're going to start looking at Josh Allen like, we're going to need to cut ties with you, brother, because, you're MVP, you're a heck of a quarterback, but you're not getting it done. And I'm sure you can agree, Pop. This past year was the best year he had an opportunity to get it done because Lamar Jackson went in the bowl or went in the playoffs, didn't have to worry about having to deal with them to get to the Super Bowl. And then you don't have Patrick Mahomes, who was his main kryptonite in this whole thing. Well, we'll see. But those are the list of the new head coaches, guys. Any other thoughts on the new head coaches, Pops, before we go on to the next segment? All right, y'all, we're going to move on to the next segment. So now we're going to talk about a very big snub from the Hall of Fame. Big snub from the Hall of Fame. And when you see this clip here, look at this. For those of you who don't know, his name's right there. His name is Bill Belichick. Super Bowl winning coach, tons of Super Bowl wins, as not only head coach, but a defense coordinator. This guy was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, as you can see on the screen. That is just ridiculous. Pops, let me know what you think about that.
Well, when I heard that, I didn't really believe it, and I thought that he should have really been in there. Shouldn't have been any questions about him being in there. But I believe they went back a little bit into the deflate gate, as they call it, and I think that might have had something to do with them not selecting him. But there are other people that are in the players, rather, also that are in the Hall of Fame that had other issues that were worse than his. And so I think that somehow or another they should have overruled or should have let him on in anyway because of the fact that's not really an issue as far as his record and all that he's done. So I really think that was one of the worst things they could have did as far as the NFL is concerned. And I think it's like you have a bias, shall I say, about him. But again, I think he should have been in on the first ballot.
I completely agree, Pops. And the thing is, for me, you can come out and say whatever you want, Hall of Fame committee, whomever, it still looks awful. No matter what you say, he's still not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And there's some that are saying he may just, not accept the opportunity to get in, because we all know he's a shoo-in to get in next year for sure. So there are people that are saying that he may not accept that. He may just say, forget it. I don't want to be in the Hall of Fame. And the main thing is, and I would say when the NFL was celebrating their 100th year, to see those specials with him being a part of, the greatest players, the greatest 100 players of all time, that was some of the best football TV I've ever seen in my life. And they had him at the forefront of that because he's such a student of the game. So you mean to tell me someone that's such a student of the game is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, the person that loves the game so much? And I get Deflategate, I get Spygate and all that. Come on now. At the end of the day, let's keep in mind that this guy won after all of that. He still won a Super Bowl. And we got a comment from Brandon. If it gets in next year, it's going to feel like a consolation prize. Of course it is. Because, they have no choice now. They got to put him in. They have no choice. And again, the man should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. As we both know, Pops, loving ball as much as we do, there's a difference between being a first ballot Hall of Famer and being a Hall of Famer. It's a big difference. Being a first ballot Hall of Famer means there was no question that the game would not have been the same without you in it. Bottom line.
Right.
It's just different. They put those people, I'm pretty sure they put those people, those first ballot Hall of Famers, in a totally separate room. Because you're set apart from everybody. Deion Sanders is one of those players. You know what I mean? So just set themselves apart from everyone else completely. And so, yeah, consolation prize for sure, Brandon. Appreciate the comment. Again, they're blaming it on Deflategate, Spygate, all that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. Because again, it'd have been different had he not won after that stuff happened. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I know he won at least 1 or 2 Super Bowls after that was done, for sure. He won after that, so there's no question that he was still able to get it done. Bottom line. So I think it's ridiculous. Any more thoughts on that, Pops? Just, him not being the first ballot Hall of Famer?
Well, let's just say this. I think they talked with Brady also about that, and some of the other players, Emmitt Smith and all of them that have been in the Super Bowl, and they said that they didn't understand why they did the man like that. And like we all still said, being a first ballot is the key to all of that. And you just said yourself, he might not want to accept that actual offer then, and let's just see how that works out when it comes up next year.
That's going to be something to see for sure. So we're going to discuss a couple more things that have happened around the league here recently. So notably, the Miami Dolphins, y'all, they've started cleaning house. So, namely Tyreek Hill has been cut from the Dolphins, and Bradley Chubb. Both of those are some bona fide players. Now, Pops, tell me what you think about Miami going in a different direction, with the new coach they have on board now. And where do you think Tyreek Hill is going to wind up? I think I know what you're going to say, but tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, some fellas, we talked really earlier today about Tyreek Hill. And I think that they really held on to him a lot longer than I thought they would because of some of the problems that he caused. And I think he also was a little bit conceited, thinking he was one of the best, and which he was. but his on and off the field problems caused him to have to let him go. And you said who I think he might be wind up with. I thought somebody said he could wind up with the Eagles because of your boy Brown having issues with him. Now I don't know if that's going to come to pass, but we'll see because they saying that Brown kind of doesn't want to be there in a way because of the Super Bowl wins and he needs to move on. But you tell me what you think about that.
Well, first, before I give you my thoughts, I got to read this comment from Brandon. He said the first ballot Hall of Fame coaches, a short list: George Halas, Curly Lambeau, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, and Don Shula. That's it. So, Brandon, let me ask you, brother, is so basically, I want to make sure that I have this correct. So, on your list, Bill Belichick is not part of that. He's not part of that. Is that what you're saying? I just want to make sure I understand what you're communicating here, because again, I feel that with Bill Belichick being such a student of the game, such a fan of the game, and then winning as much as he did, there's no question to me that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm just saying that when I saw that, I was like, what? It was unbelievable to see that they were saying he's not a Hall of Famer. And then we, as you mentioned, Pops, Tom Brady came out and said what he said about it being ridiculous that Bill Belichick was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And we know the things that were said about how they may or may not have gotten along, whatever the case may be. But he's coming out and endorsing the fact that Bill Belichick should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's all. That says a lot to me. That says all that. That's all I need to be said. That's all the convincing I need for him to come out and say that. It just confirmed it for me, for sure, that Bill Belichick should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. But I'm gonna give you my thoughts on Tyreek Hill, Pops. I really believe he's gonna end up with the Chiefs. I mean, they were talking about it being a trade possibly for him last year, just because of all the drama he had going on, and it's a match that needs to happen again, because we saw when Tyreek Hill was a part of the Chiefs how explosive that offense was. All right, Brandon, we got you responding back. Appreciate the comment. I'm just pointing that out. They gonna call the scandal the reason he didn't get in. Let me ask you this: is Tomlin the first ballot Hall of Famer? I gotta say yes. I gotta say yes, and it's because of the fact that he's had. Yo, the real Pa. Appreciate the love, my man. Appreciate the comment. Much love to you too, my man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for tuning in. But listen, Mike Tomlin, with his sustained success, this man never had a losing season. Never had a losing season. Yo, appreciate you, brother. The real podcast. Salute to the family. Keep pushing them. Indeed, brother. Indeed. Appreciate you. Shout out to the QOC network. But Mike Tomlin, his sustained success alone, it was outstanding. It was truly outstanding, and that will never be done again. That sustained success will never be done again. Never have a losing season. Now, the thing that I would always go back and look and talk about with you, Pops, and then with some others is, would we rather have that sustained success consistently, or would we rather have a Super Bowl and have a bunch of losing seasons? Me personally, I chose having the sustained success, never having a losing season, because guess what? You always got a shot. You always got a shot. Got another comment from Brandon. Never had a losing season, but had more first round playoff exits than rings. No, you're absolutely right on that. He did have a lot of first round playoff exits, but again, there's a lot to say about sustained success. And the fact that I think one of the quarterbacks' names that he had on his team one year was Duck Hodges or something. Duck Hodges has never played another down in the NFL for another team, but yet Mike Tomlin had him as a starting quarterback, and that same year they still had a non-losing season. They made the playoffs that year as well, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I might be wrong, but I believe they made the playoffs. And I know for a fact they didn't have a losing season because, again, the man never had a losing season. So I'm just saying, That alone tells me all I need to know. And he had, just not to mention that not the continued success with not having a losing season, but we're talking about the man had um what is it? A Super Bowl? He had a Super Bowl victory as well. Now he went to, I believe, two. They lost against the Packers, but he did win one. So the Super Bowl win, along with the consistent success, tells me all I need to know. So yeah, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. Now, they have different rules for that now. So, um, I don't think I honestly think he's gonna take a year off. And so, whenever he is eligible for the Hall of Fame, which is different for coaches now, which is why the Bill Belichick situation was a different story. But I believe that if he decides not to coach again, yeah, he's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Your thoughts, Pop?
Well, let me really tell you this, since we are also in the month of February, and it's talking about Black history. Well, then let's just put him down as the only black head coach that has ever done that. And so that alone should put him in the Hall of Fame for that reason. Because, like I said, we're in February, and no one has ever brought that up. But he's the first one, as far as I know, that has ever been named as having those winning seasons, and that with itself should place him among the best. Because, like I said, as being an African American coach.
Agreed. Agreed. Like I said, that'll never be done again, regardless. But I appreciate that comment, Brandon. Thanks so much, brother. Appreciate you tuning in once again, brother. Um, so there's been a few other things that have happened around the league. We have Matt Ryan, who became VP of football operations for the Falcons. Give me your thoughts on that, Pops. What do you think about him becoming that for the Atlanta Falcons? Do you think he's going to succeed?
Uh, I do, but a lot of times when you see things that you see, until we actually play the season, and then the injuries are there. Sometimes they play a role in certain things or whatever. But again, I always happen to be an optimist right now because of the fact that they've never played the season. So I'll go with that until I actually see something different.
And the thing is, they clean house in Atlanta, so they got rid of the coach, got rid of all the other execs that were there. So I'm rooting for Matt Ryan to succeed for sure. He's made some moves already, so we'll definitely see how things play out. He was successful on the field. Now we both know that doesn't mean that it's gonna mean success, in the front office. But seems like a pretty smart guy. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, like I said, I'm rooting for him to succeed, and like I said, the moves he's made, you know, seem like he's going in the right direction. But we'll see how things play out. We got the draft coming up and things of that nature as well. So, speaking of the draft, Pops, um, Fernando Mendoza, you know, former starting quarterback for the Indiana Hoosiers, who just, came off of winning a national championship. He is projected to be the number one overall pick in the draft to the Oakland Raiders. I mean, the consensus number one overall pick. People are pretty much saying just go ahead and turn in the card now. So, give me your thoughts on Fernando Mendoza. Your thoughts on him, you know, as a professional quarterback.
Well, he seems, I saw him get the David O'Brien Award, and he was here in Texas. But what I want to say is he says everything that is right now, and I think with the background that he has, and with the upbringing of his family, and he really doesn't have anything to lose because of the fact that with the Raiders record anyway. But I think that would be a great choice that they could take, and I think he will succeed there because, like I said again, he has. I think I don't know exactly what. I think the Raiders only won maybe 3 games, 4 games, something like that. But I think when he gets his feet on the ground, and he starts playing for them, and I get with the coach and all of that, I think he'll succeed, and hopefully he'll continue to be the young man he was at Indiana because he has all of the attributes. He has everything it takes to be a good quarterback in the NFL.
It's funny. I had never really, heard of him prior to him becoming a quarterback for Indiana. Now since he's played for them, I've heard stories about how he played. When he was at Cal Berkeley, which he had some pretty good games there. But then it all came to all that prep from those years at Cal Berkeley. Truly prepared him for being the starting QB at Indiana, and then Kirk Cignetti doing what he did. It was a match made in heaven for those two to come together and to have such a magical season. Now, I will say that I think he's gonna do well. Uh, it doesn't say a great deal in regards to the quarterbacks that are coming out in this draft. It's not a great quarterback class. Let's just put that out there right now. Now, if there's some other quarterbacks that'll be, projected to be high round picks in next year's draft, 2027 draft, then see how he would stack up against them. Now, again, coming out this year, yes, he is the bona fide best quarterback coming out this year. As we both know, there were some quarterbacks that just didn't pan out like they were supposed to, or had significantly down years compared to what they were projected to do at the beginning of the college football season. So, he's taking advantage of that, because he did play well, very well, as the QB of the national championship winning Indiana Hoosiers. So I think he's gonna do well. How well he's gonna do, we shall see. Because as you said, it does come down to coaching. Tom Brady's there, so hopefully he'll be able to instill some words of wisdom, some certain habits and things of that nature. But like you said, the way he goes about things, he is an amazing young man. So we'll see how it translates. But he is going to the Oakland Raiders. That's projected to that's where he's going to go. So I don't know. We'll see. But he is a projected number one overall pick for the Oakland Raiders. So again, we'll see how it goes. If all goes that route, we'll see. I'm rooting for you, Fernando Mendoza. So we'll see how it goes, man. Now, y'all, Super Bowl 60 has come and gone. We're still going to talk about it. Super Bowl 60, y'all, came and went. Let's see the clip. It was a Seahawks against the Patriots. And the reason I'm talking about it the way I am is because it was probably one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen in my life. Pops, you got the floor. Tell me what your thoughts were about Super Bowl 60.
Well, I'll start out even before they played the Super Bowl game with the playoff games, and I saw the Seattle Seahawks defense and the New England Patriots offense, which looked pretty good. But the physicality of the Seattle Seahawks defense is what I saw most of all, and how they played up on the receivers, how they played on the line, and I saw how the linebackers played. And I said to myself, well, then New England has to play a really good game in order to beat them because they're going to put plenty of pressure on New England. And I know New England played they wouldn't that with Buffalo, but I didn't see too many teams in that the AFC side that was strong enough to show me that the Seahawks could do what they did to them. And that's what maybe made it kind of one-sided. Everybody said, Mays, but he's it. But like I said, I don't think he saw a defense that he saw in the Super Bowl. So I think that was the thing. The physicality of the Seattle Seahawks is what did him in.
Well, when I'm watching the Super Bowl, Pops, what came to mind was Baltimore, New York, or Ravens, Giants, Seahawks, Broncos. Those are what came to mind when I was watching the Super Bowl. Got a comment from Brandon. 2 elite defensive teams in the Super Bowl always makes for a mediocre game. Man, I mean, you called it mediocre, man. I call it awful, honestly. And the reason being is because I never really thought that the Patriots were ever going to come back because they never showed anything. At least in the Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl, I at least thought they had a legitimate shot because they had such a great offense. Now the Legion of Boom did shut them down in the Super Bowl, but at least I thought they had some kind of shot. So I would even say this Super Bowl was pretty much up there as one of the worst Super Bowls with the Ravens Giants, because we knew what the Ravens defense did to the Giants in this Super Bowl, and this they obviously they weren't as dominant as far as the defense across the board the entire season. However, in the Super Bowl, they made the Patriots look like they had no chance. They didn't even belong at all. So, when I was thinking it was going to be a nice high scoring game, I was completely wrong. Just throwing that out there. I really thought that they were going to do some things. And, the funny thing is, the quarterback on the right, I really thought he would fold. I really did. But he actually played a really decent game. Got another comment from Brandon. Listen, if Bo Nix never got hurt, the Broncos would have been in Super Bowl 60. I agree. They would have been in Super Bowl 60. You're absolutely right. I truly believe that. They really got screwed over, man. The other thing is, Sean Payton was saying that injury that Bo Nix sustained was inevitable. It was going to happen eventually. So best that it was terrible that it happened when it did, but to get that injury done and over it, hopefully you can rehab and come back. But it sucked that it happened, in the game prior to the AFC Championship game. Because yeah, I agree. The Broncos would have been representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Now, Brandon, along those lines, do you think that the Broncos would have given the Seahawks a much better game, or do you think it would have remained the same? And once Brandon's going to comment on that, but Pops, tell me what you think. Based on Brandon's comments, if the Broncos would have made it to the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, do you think they would have fared better?
Well, he's absolutely correct. And like I said, I hated that happened to Denver because their defense is one of the top defenses also. And that might have even been more boring of a game to you then because you would have had two strong defensive teams playing, and possibly the Seattle Seahawks quarterback might have had more pressure on him or whatever too. But again, nobody can go back in the history and say, well, woulda, shoulda, coulda. So we'll just have to live with what we got and go from there.
Yeah. Now I will say that it was truly a redemption story when all was said and done for Sam Darnold. He went from seeing ghosts to now being a Super Bowl winning quarterback. We got another comment from Brandon. Bo Nix would have stretched the secondary. Drake May looked like. Listen, man, I agree. I completely agree. Now, the thing that I told you, Pops, before the game, and I told others as well, is that I thought they were an evenly matched. It was an evenly matched, you know, Super Bowl. With how the Patriots team defense was playing, with how Seahawks defense was playing offensively, I just thought they were all just completely evenly matched across the board. The one thing that I did tell you though, the advantage that I thought the Patriots had was coaching, because you got Mike Vrabel and you got Josh McDaniel, who have been there. With Mike Vrabel, playing in Super Bowls, Josh McDaniel being the offensive coordinator of Super Bowl winning teams. You would have thought going into that game that Drake May would have been much more prepared for what he was going to face. And boy, was that not the case. Josh McDaniel and Mike Vrabel got completely outcoached, never made any adjustments whatsoever. The Seahawks kept getting them with the same cornerback blitz every single time. Every single time. They never made any adjustments, which was utterly ridiculous. You would have thought that, second half, you would have seen something different. Nah, it was the same thing. Tons of three and outs. It's like, what's going on here? I got another comment from Brandon. The crazy thing about the Super Bowl, the jock tax, because the game was played in California, the players are subject to jock tax according to the CBA. Okay. I'm gonna leave that there. We're gonna leave that right there. Appreciate the comment, Brandon. But Pops, what are your thoughts about Sam Darnold, from what he was to what he is now. Give me your thoughts about him, just in general. Him, Sam Darnold, the quarterback of the Seahawks.
I think he had a chip on his shoulder, and when especially when Minnesota let him go, and he had the record that he did have at Minnesota. And I think because of the fact that he had something to prove, that he wasn't totally washed up, because he did have a hard year. He had hard years before that, and so again, Seattle gave him an opportunity to show that he had shall I say, more talent left. And the defense helped him out also, because they also helped him to get in certain games field position and all of that. And then the main thing again is he had a chip on his shoulder to prove to the other teams that he wasn't washed up and that he could win and he could play well. And that's what I think helped to propel him to that Super Bowl championship.
Now, what would have really been awesome is if he would have won Super Bowl MVP. That would have been wild. From seeing Ghost, Super Bowl MVP, man, that would have been great. But he did make the plays to get them, in position to win. The defense definitely did, win it for him for sure. But he did make some decent throws. He did kind of put some over there to, that the other team could have, the Patriots could have, caught some picks. But overall, he had a decent game. And again, he made the plays necessary for them to win. So, hey, Sam Darnold, shout out to you, my man. Shout out to you. Hopefully more continued success for you. Got another comment from Brandon. Minnesota should be ashamed for letting Darnold walk. Absolutely. Now, mind you, hindsight is 2020. So remember though, his last two games with Minnesota did not fare too well. So I mean, if you're looking at it though, JJ McCarthy, who would have thought he would have played so poorly, coming into this first year of, being a full-time starter? I don't think anyone really suspected him of playing so bad. You know what I mean? So again, hindsight's 2020. Should the Vikings have let Sam Darnold walk? Of course not. Now that we look back on it, but at the time, it was like people were saying that the Vikings were going to make the playoffs with JJ McCarthy as quarterback. You know what I mean? Because they have so much talent on the offensive side of the ball. And he showed flashes of being a pretty decent quarterback, But another comment from Brandon: the Vikings went 14-3 that year, though. Absolutely agreed. But like I said, the last two games you saw Sam Darnold with the Minnesota Vikings did not fare well at all. So, Pops, give me your thoughts on that real quick. Again, hindsight's 2020, but should the Vikings have let Sam Darnold walk?
I think with the record he provided them, I would have given him another shot. I know because there are a lot of other quarterbacks that didn't do well when they made the playoffs. So I think that was the kind of they did it too fast, and I would have at least given him another shot at seeing if he could do it again. So now, as you said, hindsight's 2020. He has a ring, and they don't have a thing.
It's true. It's true. And there's several quarterbacks that are pegged to be better than him that don't have a ring yet. One of those being Josh Allen, one of those being Lamar Jackson. We're going to leave it there, though. We're not going to go into that. I'm just saying, for him to have a ring and them not to, it's mind-boggling. It really is. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on, guys, to the next topic, which, I think y'all going to like this. The question of the day. Now, before I say anything about what the question of the day is, now, during the season with the Cincinnati Bengals, we heard talk about, Joe Burrow not being happy and want to see some changes and all these kind of things, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Now, the Cowboys have 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. We also know that the Cowboys, our beloved Cowboys, have Dak Prescott as a starting quarterback, who's, a very good quarterback, right? So, the question of the day. You ready for this, Pops? Okay. Question of the day. Would you trade Dak Prescott and 2 first-round picks for Joe Burrow? The floor is yours.
I like that question, and the only thing I have to look at is the injuries that Joe Burrow has had. He is a good quarterback, and so is Dak Prescott. And I want to give Dak another shot at doing better due to the fact that the defenses team that he's had has caused us to think that maybe a lot of it's on him, and some of it was. But when your defense gives up 100 points a game and you have to overcome that, I don't think it was all on the back. And so I believe we need to give him another shot within the next year or two to see if the defense can get better and see if they can do enough to help him win games also. So we'll see what happens. But I would not at this time do that trade because I can still say Joe Burrow scares me a lot of times. You look up, he's injured. You look up, he's injured. And some of that could have been because of his offensive line or whatever. But at this time, I keep Dak and let Joe Burrow move on and see what happens in his career.
I don't think you're gonna like my answer. I don't think you're gonna like. The reason I pose this question, and Brandon, don't get it twisted. I saw your comments, sir. Brandon said "hell no" with all caps and an exclamation point, just so you're aware, Pops. As you see on the screen right there. But listen, Brandon, you're not gonna like my answer, man. And again, Pops, you're not gonna like my answer. I yes, I'd say do it. Brandon, come on, man. Joe Burrow is a street closer in the NFL. Relax, man. Just relax with that, brother. Okay? You're gonna relax with them street clothes comments, man. But listen, I would do it. I would do the trade. Now I know that I have my takes about Dak Prescott. I have. He's a very good quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. But just think about it. Do we have a better offensive line than the Cincinnati Bengals? Do we, Pop? We have a better offensive line than
Well,
the Cincinnati Bengals?
you know, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of a. This is kind of going back and coming forward. Who was a question for them with an answer? Who was the one that knocked somebody out of the playoffs the last time they were in there? And the name, you know who the name is? It's Mr. Brady, and that's when Dallas played Tampa Bay, and that game right there showed me that Dak can do enough to get us a Super Bowl ring. And because, like I said again, they played in Tampa Bay, and Dak did his best then. And the only thing that let him down basically was the defense when they were playing San Francisco. So I had to stand on that. I had to stand, like I said, with Dak.
Pops, I'm just saying, having Joe Burrow behind the offensive line that we are constructing, I gotta say I would do it. I would do it. I would do it. He's younger than Dak. Yes, he's been injured. I understand it. But keep in mind, he is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league because Cincinnati's offensive line is atrocious. Just terrible. So if we put Joe Burrow behind the line we are constructing, I just see fireworks. Now, mind you, our defense needs to improve. Of course, I understand that. But just envisioning Joe Burrow with the receivers we have right now, with that, oh my gosh. I would do it. I would do it because we have the ammunition to go in now. Got another comment from Brandon. Joe Burrow got hurt because of his O line. Dak would get treated like 2017 Cam Newton if he went to Cincy. Okay, understood. Well, so that means to say that, okay, if he goes there, he's gonna be successful. I don't think so. But I'm just saying, from a Dallas Cowboys fan perspective, I would love to see it happen. Not that I'm not a fan of Dak Prescott whatsoever, but I'm saying we have the ammunition to go and do this. We know that Cincinnati needs to build up their defense. What better way than have 2 first-round picks and you get a quarterback who's a proven commodity in the NFL as well? I'm just saying, just from a fan perspective, I want to see it. I would really love to see it, but that's just me. I know you said you will stick with Dak. Understood, Pop. I'm just saying, from my perspective, just think about it. Joe Burrow making those passes. I mean, keep in mind, he's one of the few quarterbacks that is bested Patrick Mahomes. You know, and this was at a time where No one expected that to happen whatsoever. I mean, he led the Cincinnati Bengals team to a Super Bowl. Now they lost, but they were very competitive in that game. And why? Because he was a quarterback making those throws. So I'm just saying, I would do it. I would do it from a fan perspective. I want to see it. That's just me.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like I said, it won't. It probably won't happen. But I'm just saying, with us having two first round picks and having a quarterback, just saying, it's out there. I'm just throwing
Well,
it out.
let me just give you this. I'm really still kind of afraid of Dallas's offensive line because of what I'm seeing. If they actually show me they've gotten better than the offside penalties and the holding penalties and all of that, then I could say that line is what it should be. Now, hopefully this year, all of that needs to be put behind them because they should be matured enough now to do better with Dak being back there because there are a lot of things that I saw Dallas's line do that told me that they were immature in a sense, and they should have been progressing when they kind of really regressed. So hopefully this year being together for one full year, then I think that hopefully they'll be better this year, one of the best this year.
Pops, let me read this comment from Brent. Man, I appreciate you, brother. I really do. But you wilding with this one. I'd rather have Cooper Rush back. LOL. Come on, man. Come on, man. Now, I mean, Cooper Rush played terribly with the Ravens last year. We're just gonna throw that out there. Um, he was better off being our backup quarterback because he played much better. And I think it was mainly because he was, in the system for so long. He was able to really digest it and really make plays because he was very successful with us. Here, the Dallas Cowboys. So, but you wilding with that one, man. Cooper Rush, relax, man. But you know, Brandon had mentioned about Joe Burrow being street clothes. Yes, he is off injured, but again, it's because he's taking so many hits. But we can kind of say the same thing about initially about Dak Prescott. Now he had a year where he had some nicks or whatever, but he didn't miss a game. So I will say he was super healthy this year. He came off of the injury he had last year. His rehab went supremely well. He came back ripped, was ready to roll. I'm just saying, like we've dealt with the injuries with Dak as well. I'm just saying again, from my perspective as a fan, why not do it? Now again, it's not gonna happen. But I'm just saying, with the ammunition that we have to make it happen, we have it. When is the last time we said we had 2 first-round picks? It's been a while. The last time I believe we had it was it with Marcus Spears and DeMarcus Ware, or it could have been where we had I believe it was Felix Jones and someone else that we got. I can't really recall who those 2 players were. The one that really comes to mind is DeMarcus Ware and Marcus Spears, but it's not often that we've had 2 first-round picks to potentially do some things with this. Again, that's just my perspective. I want to see it happen, but I just thought that would be a very, very juicy question. Make some people think. You know what I mean?
Notice what you said. Notice what you said. Notice what you said. You see, let's keep that. And we had the first round picks and all of that and everything. Let's do all of that, get all of that in here this year and see what happens.
Yeah.
They may add a lot of stuff. Yeah, the pick, the weapons and everything. Let's see what happens.
Look at him. I mean, can't you just see Joe Burrow back to pass to the Cowboys uniform? Now, another comment from Brandon. Dak is scared to get hurt again, which is why he don't scramble and he's not a pocket passer. Understood. I'll give you that. I will say again, he came back stronger than ever. You could tell he was on a mission to get it done. Now, we didn't even make the playoffs, but we'll see how things go. Hopefully he can build upon, the success he had this past year, and make it happen even more so for the 26-27 season. But we shall see. Again, y'all, listen, from a fan perspective, this is what I want to see. I really do want to see Joe Burrow in a Cowboys uniform because of what we have to make this happen. Again, we don't often have 2 first-round picks, so why not use them to get that guy right there on the left of your screen. I mean, I can envision it right now. I'm telling y'all right now, I can see it, and he would be a monster in a Cowboys uniform. Just saying. Again, I'm probably a little alone out there on that, on that island, but it's okay. I want to see it. You we'll see as people watch, this episode what they think about it as well. But I'm just saying, Pops, just look at that. Look at it. Look at him. Picture him in a Cowboys uniform.
Well, what if that goes to Cincinnati and he does like the quarterback? I can't think of his name. Well, I don't know why now. But the quarterback for Seattle. What if that goes to Cincinnati and he wins the Super Bowl there, and then we have Joe and we don't go? So would that be the same type of feeling?
See, Pops, come on now, Pop. I mean, now you saying that, and we just had this discussion about, Cowboys, former Cowboys going on to have success, namely DeMarcus Lawrence. I wasn't even going to talk about that, but you kind of brought it up with saying if he goes, isn't it? So who knows? It could happen. We've got a track record with former Cowboys doing that, so it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Again, Pops, I'm just saying, from my vantage point, we've always been a while since we've had 2 first-round picks to do something with them as far as making a big splash. So it was out there talking about he's not happy in Cincinnati. Now we'll see how things progress with that whole situation. But the way it's looking, it's like, okay, if they don't improve, then he's gonna want to leave. He's gonna want to leave the Cincinnati Bengals for sure, because he's gonna want to win. He's used to winning. You know what I mean? He led them to a Super Bowl appearance, and they didn't get it done, but they were very competitive because he was a quarterback. Just saying. So again, we're gonna leave that there. But I'm just saying, it would be cool to see Joe Burrow in a Dallas Cowboys uniform.
Okay.
26-27 season. But we're gonna leave it there. But again, it's just something cool to think about, and it could be it could have been a possibility, but I doubt it.
I got a scary thought. I think if he's unhappy, he may not come to Dallas, but Pittsburgh needs a quarterback next year, so he might be traded to them.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing: they would be fools to trade him to the Steelers within the division. They would be terrible. Terrible. They need to fire whoever that GM is immediately if that happens within the division, because they would make them, the Steelers, bona fide contenders immediately if he goes there for sure. So I mean, that's a good thought though. You're right though. They do need a quarterback. There are talks about possibly Aaron Rodgers, rejoining Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh, but we'll see how that goes. But they do need a quarterback because, Aaron Rodgers ain't going to play forever. So even if he does come back another year, okay, what does that say for the next year? So, but we'll see how that goes. Or possibly, again, from a fan perspective, I would love to see Joe Burrow, in a Dallas Cowboys uniform, get those 2 first-round picks. Dak Prescott, package them up, get them to Cincinnati, get back Joe Burrow, see how it goes. But anyway, listen, y'all, that's going to do it for us today. It's such a pleasure to be back with y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate the support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, y'all. And again, whatever your favorite podcast platform is, check us out, because we're there. We're on any of those platforms, so we'd appreciate it. Y'all can tune in again, like, share, and subscribe. And until next Wednesday, y'all, peace out.